Shalom and welcome to Tel Aviv. I'd like to share with you some thoughts on the weekly Parsha. This week's Parsha is Lecha. Some of the things I'll be saying come from my book, Deep Waters by Rabbi Arnie Singer, which you can get on Amazon.com. This week's Parsha of Lecha introduces Avraham, our forefather, really the father of monotheism, and I think the father of faith. We don't know much about Abraham. At the end of last week's Parsha, the Torah tells us that Abraham was married to Sarai, and he had a brother, Nahor. He had a nephew, Lot. His father was Terach, and they actually left their home in Ur Kasdim to journey to the land of Canaan, the land of Israel. However, they got stuck in the city of Haran, which is in Syria. And the rabbis teach that Abraham lived in Haran until he was the age of 75. And that's where our Torah portion comes in. And God commands Abraham. The Torah says, "Vayomer Hashem el Avram." And God said to Avram, his name was not Abraham yet, Abraham was still Avram, "Lech lecha me'artzecha u'mimoladetecha u'mibeit avicha el haaretz asher areka." God tells Abraham to leave his land, his birthplace, the house of his father, to go to the land that I will show you. He doesn't even tell Abraham exactly what land it is. Just go and I'll show you where to go. Bescha legoy gadol, and I will make for you there, I'll make you into a big nation, a great nation, va'varechecha, and I'll bless you, va'gadla shemecha, and I will make your name great, va'yebracha, and you will be a blessing. And those who bless you will be blessed. And those who curse you will be cursed. And all the nations of the land will be blessed through you. And that's it. The next verse is Vayelech Avram, kasher diber elav Hashem. And Abraham went on his journey like God told him to. Let's just talk about Abraham for a second. Abraham, according to our rabbis, discovered the one God, either at age 3 or age 40, but he was alone in his belief. The rest of the world, the rest of his society, worshipped idols. And Abraham is called Abraham HaIvri, which is translated as Abraham the Hebrew, but the word Ivri comes from the root, the Hebrew root on the other side, Aver. And the rabbis teach that Abraham was called Abraham HaIvri because he was on one side in his monotheistic belief, and the rest of the world was on the other side. So Abraham was alone, one person in his faith against the entire world. And it wasn't only for a week or a month or a year. But as we said before, God spoke to Abraham when Abraham was 75. So if Abraham discovered God when he was 3, that means he was alone for 72 years. If he did it when he was 40, then for 35 years, Abraham was alone in his belief. Now I'm sure his wife Sarah, also believed in him, and possibly some of his disciples, which the rabbis teach that he and Sarah converted many disciples to the belief in God when they were in Haran. But it was a small group, basically all believing in the faith of Abraham. So Abraham was alone for so many years, and he held fast to his beliefs in the most challenging circumstances. I mean, many of us are challenged when we live in a place with very few religious Jews, or even if we go away on a trip with not many religious Jews, we immediately feel challenged. Just imagine Abraham. Now, when God finally speaks to him, it's not a grand display. It's not some sort of incredible, amazing, miraculous event. There are no earthquakes. There are no thunderbolts. The sky doesn't open. All there are 3 sentences, 3 brief phrases. Go, leave this land to a land that I will show you, and there you will be blessed. Abraham is the only one that hears this. Now just imagine the situation at Abraham's home in Haran. Abraham was a wealthy man. He probably had properties and cattle and engaged in trade, and he had business partners. Now just imagine Abraham has his vision. He goes home, he tells Sarah. Now Sarah, of course, his loyal wife, believes him. She doesn't know for sure, of course, because Abraham is the only one to hear the voice of God, but she believes him. Now he has to go tell his business partners, you know what? I'm leaving. I'll sell some of the stuff. Whatever I can take with me, I'll take. But I'm leaving. They ask, well, where are you going? He says, well, I'm not exactly sure, but my God will tell me. What are you going to do there? Do you have a job yet? I don't know. All I know is that God told me to go to this land. And what's going to happen to you there? Well, I don't know, but God said that I will be blessed there. And everyone who blesses me will also be blessed. Well, that sounds very nice, but how do you know? Do you have any proof? Can you show us proof of this communication with your God? No, Abraham says. I heard him. Are you sure it was a real communication from God? Maybe it was just a voice in your head. Well, Abraham says, no. I believe, I have faith that this is the voice of God. This is the word of God. That's all he had to go on, his faith, in 3 sentences, 3 phrases, the promise of God. And Abraham follows his convictions, follows his faith, and his wife and many of his students go with him to the land of Canaan. That's why Abraham is the father of monotheism. He is the ultimate man of faith. He stood up to the entire world, never gave in to the challenges, never weakened his belief, his faith. And that's what we have to learn from Abraham, that no matter in what situation we might find ourselves in, no matter how difficult it is, no matter how lonely we feel or how alone we are, we must stay firm in our beliefs and in our faith. We have to believe that things will get better, that eventually the plan, God's plan, will become evident to us. And then we'll know, as Abraham did after 75 years, he finally got confirmation from God. We too will get our confirmation from God if we stand firm in our faith. That's the lesson of Abraham, and that's the lesson that we learn in this week's Parsha of Lecha. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.